Right, let's check the audio. Hi everyone, let's get the live feed up. Studio mode. Didn't transition it, brilliant. Live feed. There we go. Good evening, screen friends. So it's live Q&A, all things mediumship. I'm not really fast. What's going on now? I've got a double capture. Is that okay? Audio okay? Not happy with that. I've got some weird marker going on. Hey. So, can everyone hear me? Anyone, can anyone hear me? No idea, that's a bit slow, that chat. Quickly check your phone, Carol. That'll be easier, wouldn't it? So I've got a double mic going on. Yes, audio's good. There you go. So someone's done that. So while this is populating, notifications should have gone out that this is live. This is just one of them live Q&As, something that no matter what stage you're at, whether you don't do it at all and you've got some question about it, beginner, classes, etc., right through to the advanced. I'm sure I can help you with any kind of problem that you encounter. So I set aside this time for you to clear that up, maybe. So it's completely free. I'm here to help. It's me giving back on the many things that I give back, but this is one of those things where not everyone can get to classes, so this is there to help. So few plugs. So I've got a residential coming up in October at some point in it. October, yeah. So go to the website mediumcharliekelly.com or .co.uk. You'll find the residential there. It was sold out, but life happens and there's a few spaces that have become available if you want last minute residential. So you'll find that on the website along with all the classes for 2026 which have now been released. And there is a number of spaces left for mentoring, which is a deep dive into your mediumship and getting the best out of you. So that's all on the website mediumcharliekelly.co.uk or .com. I'm sure Carol will put that in the chat. It'll be a link that you can just click from there. So everything looks like it's stabilized. Audio's good. I'm seeing in the chat. So we will begin. I'll kind of write off a couple of hours. But if your questions stop, I'll just end the live feed early. So it's all good. So while the questions are here, I'm here and we can go over any kind of issue. Just whack that in the chat. I'll get there. Hopefully I don't miss any. And welcome to tonight's live Q&A. So let's begin. Let's see where the first question is. So hi. Neil, good evening. When you turn your attention to the spirit world to begin mediumship, do you just try to imagine someone is there initially to kickstart the procedure? You absolutely can do it that way. There is no hard and fast rule on the way that you're doing it. I think a lot of mediums spend way too much time trying to work out how mediumship works, and that in itself, in trying to work out the understanding and the process and the nuts and bolts of it all, is actually taking up a tremendous amount of space where the mediumship would take place. So it's all about that stabilizing the mind rather than trying to work and think and process. So if you feel that it would be best to use that space of imagination, which most people do in the early stages of a man, a woman, boy, girl, they, them, then you would, your brain will give you an image to support that, and then you would start discussing that sensory experience that you're having, to which the client, the exchange would be validating all the way through. So you can absolutely do it that way, Neil. So welcome back as well. Tina Hennessy, what a cool second name that is. I love Hennessy. So hi Charlie, I have a question. When spirit is close, I feel a strong pressure in my head and my body. There must be a follow-up to that. Yes, what is that pressure? It's the relationship that you're building when you're working with your mediumship, and what you're doing over time is that you're trying to like dial in a language and this sensory experience. So some people get like a cobwebbing on their face, or they get a judder down their back, and you know, all of those kind of things. You are now looking for that pressure when your attention goes to that of a spirit world. So now your brain, when you go to that space, will create that pressure for you to let you know that you are in the space that you're intending to be in. The spirit world are not doing that. Don't mistake what I'm saying there. Your brain has created that procedure in your mediumship for that pressure to be there, for you to be confident in speaking the experience that you're having. That's what that is, Tina. They're saying, hi Carol, my friend Shmida. Looking forward to catching this live. Kettle is on. I've got a lovely cafetiere of coffee, so that will keep me going. I think I see Cal in the chat here. Cal had me up early this morning playing video games and was then late. So, and the great bit about that is he can't shout at me on a live stream. So yeah, so tired. Hence the coffee. Nina, hi Nina, hi Jane, hi Sheila, Sacred Space. Really looking forward to tonight. Mars bars ready. Yeah, I'm all good. Everyone's good. Audio's good. Cool. Where's the questions, people? Come on. Hello from Florida. Yeah. Oh yeah. So my friend Shmida, like, we should make a admin or them admin. So don't forget to like the stream. Obviously, that does the algorithm the world of good for me. So those of you that are obviously involved in mediumship, and if you've outed yourself as a medium, then share it to let other people know that it's here, and it's free guidance as such, or free help in anything that you're struggling with in your mediumship. Love to know more about mentoring. Crystal, just contact my Facebook page, where you will think you're speaking to me, but you're not. You're speaking to Carol. Carol does all the admin stuff, so just ping her a message and she can help any kind of clearing up there for you. David Spark, hi Charlie, newbie here. We all had to be new at some point, David. Feel sometimes hear thoughts, not mine, etc. What's next on this journey? The best bit of advice I can give you is keep it really simple, real easy. Do not try to understand a story. So I know the audio is going to cut out here, so I'm going to turn, draw, and then come back and point it out. Yeah. So the relationship that you have with a communicator will be here, and you're trying to understand or work out what it is that they're trying to say, but you have zero context of who this individual is. You don't know them, you know nothing about them. They're only there because this person has turned up, and you're trying to understand a story that you're receiving for them so you can speak it, and for them to think about the individual that they've got. You have no context here or here, so you are never going to work it out. You're never going to understand it. Your sole job, the service, is to explain the sensory experience in the simplistic of ways to the client, which the client will keep you on track and keep you validated all the way through every step of the way, if I keep checking in with the client. So what will happen is there will be parameters of acceptance. The way that I'm saying it, they will accept that this is this individual, or it will be kind of, not quite, no. So, and once it falls outside of those parameters, you've lost the client. They're not understanding what it is that you're talking about. But if I keep it simple and explain exactly what I get, that will fall into the parameters of acceptance. They'll say, yes, you get the next bit. that would be the best bit of advice I can give you. Too many people are trying to work out two people's stories, understand two people's stories with zero context of the individuals that you're working with. So that would be, I would get that down first, David. What's that, Carol? If you'd like to help support the channel, Carol's put that there. There is a PayPal link. I mean, you don't have to do anything like that. It is just for those people that want to donate for the time or for the information that they're receiving. It's not required, though. It's only for those people that are in a fortunate enough position that they want to send a PayPal. Then that's to that email address that Carol has put there for the PayPal link. And there is something I think they call a super chat here, which is a little monetary box at the bottom there. YouTube take a small percentage of that. The rest would go to the channel. So that's just for those people that want to do that. Hi, Christine. Herbert says, hey, Charlie, have you ever sat with Stuart Alexander? I haven't, but I was talking to a few people the other day that did sit with him on a regular basis, and it was an interesting conversation. So I know he does a lot less now, doesn't he? But yeah, well, you know, we can't rule it out, can we? So, but the answer's no, I haven't. So we'll see. So Hanny, good evening from Norway. Good evening, Norway. Oh, you put the soup chat thing there. I'm an idiot. That jumped loads there. Right, there we go. Got it back. Kelly says, correct me if I'm wrong, but do you not do a read for someone who has lost a child for a year? If so, why? No, you are wrong. It's dependent on the client, on whether they're ready or not. Now, I typically, in my classroom, use, there's a bit of a light glare there, isn't there? There you go. I typically use the example in the classroom of what the time structure is, or what the problems are in the time framing that's been there. So my mum, who has now passed, it was like 20 plus years that I'd lost my sister, her daughter. And she was never ready for a read. It was always so upsetting for her, and you would consider that time frame enough for her to have a reading, but she just wasn't ready at that time. And then we fast forward a number of years, 20 odd years, and I lost my mum a couple of years ago. And I found that out at like 9 a.m. in the morning. And I was ready to run class the same day at 1 p.m. To which by 2 p.m. she was giving me a link via one of the students that they didn't know that she had passed. But I was more than ready because I know where she's gone, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So there is no hard and fast rule on the time framing. It's completely down to the uniqueness of the individual, whether they are ready or not. Medium Christine. Oh, Christine, I've just read the medium bit. Hi, Charlie. What advice would you give to a person so is very neurodivergent, ADD brain, and struggles to drop below 13 hertz, let alone stay there? They will actually give themselves a tension headache. With the ADD, it's actually because they're doing multiple things a lot of the time. So it's not that they need to be doing anything. They've just got to speed up the process, because what will happen in the mindset, 2713, this is the hertz that Christine's talking about, 7 and 5. Mediumship takes place here, and anything above that is process. An ADD and ADHD mind will just be in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So it'll just be that it won't be causing them a tension headache. You just got to get them to do mediumship a little bit faster, and they'll find that their consistency will pick up then. So yeah, it's not about it's probably rare for a medium to go in and hold there anyway. There'll be some sort of like, especially a demonstrator will be working here, like thinking on how best to present that, and showmanship and energy management, that we're in and out anyway. With what's going on, ADHD will just be a lot quicker. So get them to say more, or give them more tasks. So what do they do for their job? Where's their family? And, you know, what was their favourite food? ADD minds will be able to get them answers a lot quicker. A little bit formatted, but for the individual to get used to it, then it'll be a good technique to get them started. Get them doing 3 jobs when someone of a more passive mindset will be doing 1. That will help your student, Christine. Like don't forget to like the what's it called, the live. Where's my brain today? Where is my brain? So Tien says thanks, no problem. Snap with a coffee. Yeah, I've got mine. Cow is here. And no, he wasn't late. Don't believe his lies. So I'll leave that down to you guys. He was late. Been looking forward to this all week. Thanks again, Charlie. No problem. Emma, Medium, Omar. Am I saying that right? Omar. What are your thoughts about having imaginary conversations with random spirits and guides for mediumship development on your own? If it's for development reasons, they're not random. There's a purpose behind it. So I've got no problems with that. What I don't like is a lack of discipline where you're in and out of it all day, every day. And, you know, my guide told me to tell your guide, so you need to listen to this, is not the way forward. But for development purposes, educational purposes, you're having conversations with what you think is imaginary or random will actually be for the benefit of the development of the mediumship. So there's actually a purpose behind it. So I wouldn't make it sound as weird as the way I've read your question. It just requires a discipline, so a time and a place for those conversations to take place. Suzanne Richards, hello from Dorset. You're in the UK then. Can't wait to see you soon. Likewise, look, I'm really looking forward to the residential in Birmingham. It's Birmingham, but for the US contingency there in Birmingham, it will be amazing, as was the last one. So looking forward to it myself. Hanny, good evening to you and Carol. I am learning by listening, and you'll learn a lot more if you ask the right questions for your stage or where you're at, or to clear up a myth, or you know, all the spooky weird stuff. That's what this is about. It's for all levels, for all questions. We can discuss it, go over it, and it'll just help ease that mind and stop you over processing, overthinking, being frightened, you know, all of those kind of things, because you don't need them in the work that you do. I love my work, and it should be embraced, not, you know, made hard or to be run away from. So Kevin says, hi Charlie, how do I practice with strengthening my connection with spirit without having a person to read? Well, I personally use something that I call the corridor. This is not a sales pitch, by the way, but I was given a corridor, so you haven't got to purchase my corridor. There is one available on the website, which basically is a corridor with doors left and right side. And the way that I do that, exercising clairvoyance or clairaudience, so the seeing and the hearing for those non-medium participants in the live, and trying to extract and learn how to have a conversation with that would take place in like a meditative state within a working mindset within that corridor. And I used that myself. The spirit world gave it to me. That's why I put it on record to get it out there. And you'll find that your mediumship will have a room within that corridor for multiple facets of that mediumship for you to go and experience, so you can do the learning on your own without the need of a fellow student or a client. the downside is you can't get comfortable doing it like that all the time. You have to introduce a regular practice, because you need the people skills to be able to converse with someone sat opposite on a monitor or in front of you in person. And the mistake a lot of mediums would make is close their eyes, which would cause a disconnect between you and the client. And you're gonna feel that disconnect. They're gonna feel like they're not part of the conversation with their loved one, and the purpose that you have this loved one is because they have entered the room. And if I cause a divide here, the reading will more than likely be very difficult to get from A to B and conclusion, or you will just fail. So it needs a balance of trying out something like I've said with the corridor, where you go in and do it, but you do need regular sessions for you to understand the relationship that you're building with spirit world. Erica says, I'm newish to mediumship. My last 4 practice reads were not received by the sitters. Fleshed out evidence and strong messages that came out of me, very unmoderated by myself. What to change next time? Shut up, don't talk so much. Mediums have got this problem where they're trying to make something sound good, and you don't know what you need to make sound good, because you've got no context and you've got no context. So what will be happening is you'll be talking too much, and you'll be giving examples. So he's like, this guy's like full of energy, and it's like he's like from A to B, he's like really fast, and if it's not that, he's like ADHD mindset. It's just everything's at full speed, and what you're doing is you're giving these examples which are falling out of the parameters the whole time. So say the thing that you received in the smallest number of words possible, and in the most simplistic of language, to build a relationship all round. Once the client knows who you've got, then we can start to build or speak a little bit more. But I would highly recommend just keeping it as simple as possible until you understand the process that you're going through there. So yeah, try that. But yeah, mediums, they just don't shut up. They just keep on and on and on. So less is more in that case. Where did that go? Oh, I'm lost. Up there. Mandy says hi. David says thanks, no problem. Damn it, I hit enter too soon. Hey Charlie and Caroline, any suggestions for sitting for spirit? I'm finding it challenging to carve out times. Just when you can. It's like there's no hard and fast rule that it's got to be. What's going on with this camera? Hard and fast rule. What are you doing? Yeah, it's a bit not. I wonder if I can just. Can I lock that off? Give me a second, Mandy. I will answer you. Let me see if I can lock this camera off, because it's done. There you go. Done. That should be it. There's no hard and fast rule. If you're someone that's got like 30 minutes in the morning, it hasn't even got to be 30 minutes. 5 minutes in the morning over a cup of coffee to say hi, check in, and you'll be building up that relationship there. A lot of people try and carve out that time in the evening, but you're ready to go to bed, aren't you? You start dropping through the mindset, and if you're trying to meditate, you'll go to sleep. And meditation is a focus. It's like learning to hold, learn to hold, and your brain thinks sleep when it's late in the day. So if you get up early, or you do it at lunchtime, just take 5 minutes out and you learn just to hold the space, then invite, then you'll be here with the guide, the team, etc. And that'll be the 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes per day is better than none per week, isn't it? So even if you've done that once a week, it's going to be more than anything else. So yeah, so give that a try. Who knows? And you can pop in on the next live feed and let us know how you got on with that. Oh, and there it is. So in case I fall into the realms of making it up. Oh no, I've read the wrong one. Emma, any tips for deepening the evidence without dipping into imagination? I did a reading the other day and they showed me a yellow radio. Sitter couldn't take it, but I didn't want to ask anything more. When you receive information from a communicator, that they are using you as an instrument, which means it's confined to your mind, your experience, your knowledge, your consciousness. So it has to pass through that. And so if I receive a yellow radio and I offer that to the sitter, and the sitter says to me, I have no idea what the yellow radio is, I have to ask myself, what does that say to me? And then I would offer that. If that fails, I would say to the communicator, show me in a different way, to which it would arrive in a completely different way, and then I'd offer it, and then it would be fixed. The problem is with the one I answered a moment ago, where we talk too much, where we embellish and we add and we assume and we leave bits and bobs out. That's what will make it go wrong. So the yellow radio, no, what does that say to me? Then I'd have an interpretation of what that yellow radio is. I would offer that. The client would probably say yes, then I'd get the next one. Yeah, if that failed, then show me a different way, to which the client would probably accept that. And then we can move on through it. Now, you have to understand that this person completely knows their story. So to be able to get deeper in the evidence of what you're doing, if these indicate a statement, he's taking me outside, and then I'm like, okay, what's next? Then I need to push the parameters of comfort. So this is getting uncomfortable. I'm not sure if this is right. Oh my God, should I say it? And I'm extending every time. If you use your practice sessions to learn where that starts to go wrong, it'll be like 5, 6, 7. Then you know that you're falling into that part of imagination at that point, not this bit here where yes, 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 yes. That will, and if you keep next, the second nature part of your mediumship will be always looking for the next statement after a few weeks, let's say, of you trying to do that. So it's just, I understand it. It's scary. I understand that, your ego's about to take a hit or whatever, but you will learn from the mistake. So I strongly encourage really stretching the parameters of comfort into that belly flipping moment, to which you'll start to get accuracy with consistency. So give that a try. Mia? Yeah, I'm on again. Feels weird, this one. The last one I done on Zoom, didn't I, where I had another face to talk to. Now I'm looking at my own bloody face. So these are quick fire. These are a little bit easier to get through all the questions, but I do like the interaction. It's just not live for the YouTube audience, is it? So one of those. So we got it up to 46 likes so far, so you lot are doing all right. For those of you that haven't done it, click like for me. Subscribe if you aren't already as well. You need to. I'll be able to check the analytics, and there'll be loads of people in here that aren't subscribed. They just hate watching probably, but subscribe if this is the sort of content that you're looking for, and then obviously the videos will be due out, and you'll be notified of any upcoming lives and video releases. So where'd I get to? Eric, is that Eric? I feel like I've butchered that name. From New Hampshire. Will you be doing a new guided meditation? Your last two were great. I do actually have the sound booth. Is that what you call it? A sound booth? I've got the sound booth. I've got a very specific sound booth to record meditations. Maybe I'll do it. And I've got an all singing, dancing new podcasting mic. So the audio quality should be top grade. So maybe I'm just so busy. Maybe I should just ease up on the diary a little bit, but I'm just so busy. I if and when I can get the time, I may record a few new ones, because I do enjoy them when I do them. So why not? Suzanne Richards is getting on the gin to get her body ready for the residential. Well, that's very rude, Suzanne. Falling into the UK lifestyle. Zan, hi Charlie, and how, and who, hi, yeah, hi. You know who's in the house. I want to say that with a Scottish accent. Don't know why. In the house, can you see me now? Your residentials are. I shouldn't have read that out. Thanks, Schmida. No problem, Omar. What do I think of ghost hunts? I probably need a little bit more context to your question. I'm not a big fan of them. It's all around hysteria. So adding a vibe to the room and that kind of stuff. They're a bit of a money spinner as well, aren't they? It's not really my thing. So a little bit more context, I can give you a little bit more of a detailed answer. But as a heads up, if you're into ghost hunts, you won't like my answer. So if you don't want me to annoy you in any way, but there's it's based around hysteria. Ghosts are not. Then there's no intelligent communication, so it's out of the realms of evidential mediumship. If there's any more to the question, then I'll answer it. Danny, hi Charlie. When I'm lying down for bed, I can audibly hear spirit. Sometimes it sounds like a radio station. How can I utilize this all of the time? That's because you're going down the hertz, so you're going to sleep, which your mind starts to slow down. So we go down the hertz. And here, 7 hertz, logic and judgment are activated. So on the rise, logic and judgment are in play. So them kind of things tend not to happen so freely because you're like, I'm making it up. What was that? I don't know what that. And you're judging your parameters of safety and logically, is that right? When we fall below that on our way to sleep, which is down here, logic and judgment is off. It's switched off. So it's a freer mind. We can get to you easier. So it's learning to sit in the deeper state for you to be able to audibly hear absolutely everything, which is just your frustration will be the thing that is slowing it down. So just say to yourself, I'm going to write off a year of doing that every day. 1 year. Bearing in mind I've been doing this for 16 years now and it feels like 2 years, so write off a year, just see where it ends up this time next year. And if you are dedicated in that moment of doing that and working through the hertz, you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results. So where'd I get to there? Oh God, is there questions with it? No questions with the super chats. Thank you, you two, on the super chat. No, nothing is there. There's no. I should have probably said that, shouldn't I? So with the super chats, if there is a super chat, I just throw that question to the top, which can be a nightmare if this channel ever got popular. Yeah, no question there. So we're running out of questions by the looks of it. So you better get your questions in, or I will be off, because I'm not talking to myself. I don't mind answering your questions, but I'll just go and get Cal and go on Warzone. So where are we? Where did I get to? It was Danny the last one, wasn't it? Yeah. So Andrew says, Hi. Mia, I have the corridor. Highly recommend. Thanks. I should read these before I read them out. Jay, hey Charlie, I usually only receive communications with spirits when I'm alone during meditation with my eyes closed. How do I confidently have communication with my eyes open? I think it's one of them things you personally wouldn't like to go and sit with someone with their eyes closed and trying to have a conversation with you, saying it's about communication. So I think it's for the betterment of the read that you've got to have your eyes open. So if you sit there with your eyes open and you've got a favourite pet like a dog, or you've got a favourite person, you know, like a partner or a child, you can be watching this live feed here, and I say to you, imagine that dog or that person that's one of your favourites, and you can imagine it while listening to me, while watching the YouTube, you know, so you can do it. Now it's just a consistency in doing it on the regular, and then it's super easy with that. You can receive communication at any time. It can be beyond the meditation at any given time during the day. It's just where your attention is. So if my attention is on that of a communicator for someone in front of me, the communication will take place at that point. So you can do it there. It's just that you're comfortable with your eyes closed, and you're comfortable when it's in meditation, because you're not being judged as harshly when you're looking at someone's face, isn't it? So it's about the comfort zone now, Jay. So you just got to learn to feel like an idiot and be cool with it. That's all it is. So Maria, have you ever felt your mediumship reach the plateau? What would you suggest to overcome this? I think every medium has felt a plateau. And I think it's because you have made mediumship a little bit one-dimensional. So you go in and you get their gender, you get their age, their relation, their passing, their personality, maybe a little bit of their story. And then what will happen over a period of time is these things are constantly the thing. That's what you go for. You lose the passion or the desire for it, because it's a little bit samey, it's a little bit over and over and over again, and it just means that you've fallen into complacency, comfort. So you've got to stretch the comfort zone in your learning, in your understanding of what mediumship is. Now, to help you get through that is this person wants to speak here and they know their story. Do they need to tell you what shirt they wore or what colour shoes they wear for this person? I don't think they do. I think they want to get to the nuts and bolts of, it's me. Hi, it's me. Look, I'm really here. And this is what you need to be saying, would sound very different in every read that you've done, which would make you extremely uncomfortable, but would also move you beyond the parameters of plateau. So I think you need a challenge, or to challenge yourself a little bit more, which will help you move very quickly beyond the plateau. Yeah, so please like the stream, everyone. Thanks, Schmieder. So, and they did, everyone did. It went to 67 there, so thank you very much. So the YouTube fam are listening, so it really does help. You don't realise how these algorithms work, so and they're a little bit annoying in that sense that you've got to like and save and share streams, and I get it, I totally get why you don't want to do it, but if you want live feeds and that, and you want me to sort of come on, then that's the kind of trade-off, isn't it? I get it, it's annoying, but it really does help the channel. Is reading a book like meditation? Very much so. A lot of people like that space, don't they? It's very much, it'll be the same benefits as reading books, Jane, so I can see exactly why you see it that way. So, and I completely agree with you. I've missed one. Zan, do you have any tip for me, Charlie, when I'm going to have my demo next week? Not really, just go show people what you love doing. Don't see it as they're out to judge you or they're out to get you. They're out to just go. It's one big show and tell, ain't it? It's just you're the only dude that can see them. And it'll be through your language use, whether they believe you that they're there or not. So, yeah, enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it. Either way, you're going to learn from it. So it's one of those, isn't it? You can learn in a nice space, or you can make it as anxious or as terrifying as you like. So I would choose the one that you would embrace it, and this is what I'm aware of, and you're up and running. So that's what I would do. Emma, sorry Charlie, not sure you read my question right. That cool. The sitter said they could take the yellow radio. Okay. Should I have moved on after the yes or asked for more about it? So if I haven't received a yellow radio here, I will get the yes from the client. So that's what you're saying. And so my apologies, I've definitely read it wrong. Then this next one here that follows this, if they need it, if this person needs additional information for the clients who know it's them, then that one will come after that one. You just won't know about it because you have no context and you have no context. So now if you want to narrate the story, if you don't want to surrender, you know, you're not in service but more under a condition of understanding, then you can ask for the next statement to be there, and you can try and marry it up. I just think you're asking for problems there. Is it wrong? Not really. Who am I to say it's right or wrong? But it's one of those of understanding. Am I demanding? I need to know. I want to know. Give it to me. Or I'm here for you. What do you want me to say? Then that next statement will follow that one just without your knowledge. If that makes sense. Emma. Kevin, when closing my eyes to go to sleep, I see a number of unfamiliar faces. Can you explain what this means? What you'll start to do is you'll start to develop this terrible habit of thinking about a spirit world. My apologies if you can hear my coffee. You'll create this almost ritual-like process before going to bed that your second nature, your subconscious, will start to look for the faces, and then it will be changing all of the time. But you're creating a habit for that. That's why you'll be seeing them. Then you undergo development and you'll see more of them. But you're thinking more about the spirit world in the state of going to bed. So you are in effect looking for it. Seek and you shall find. But you're training your brain to seek it as you're going to bed. So I wouldn't do that. I get you're hungry. I get it's exciting. Oh my God, like maybe I can actually do this. So I totally get it. But breaking that habit down the line is going to be a little bit more difficult. So I would say don't do it there. But have a very clear attention that you're going to do that before any kind of bedtime, and you will still see the same faces because your attention's there and you're training your brain to do it at a more reasonable time. Yeah. Albert says, hi Charlie, not worked for a good while, now can't find my way back to them, give me a clue. It will start with an idea, Albert. So I've got an idea of a man, and then I will feel a man, or I will see a man within my mind's eye, my imagination, whatever terminology you need there. Do not hold it. Whatever you are doing, get rid of it, say it, and very quickly you'll be back to where you was. Failing that, speak to Carol, throw you on a class, and I'll sort it out. I'll fix it for you. His name is Albert Whitley, so keep an eye out for that. Matthew, not happy with you, Matthew. Not happy. We need words, buddy. Hawaii? You're watching this while on holiday in Hawaii. And everyone's just rolled their eyes at you as well, mate. So hope you enjoyed or enjoying. Have a cognac for me. Cal says, sorry, heard Warzone, jumps out the shower. So, Eleanor, what would you say to someone that you were doing a reading for who told you that her mother is not ready to communicate because she hadn't made peace with her in life before she passed? Nonsense is what I would say. Then I'd go and get the evidence of mum, and then I'd say, see, she does want to talk. So, yeah, it's they don't carry the human burdens or emotions that people think, so it's immediate. Free Joy says, when I'm reading, I'm deaf in the power, feeling the energy. I hear a name so clearly, but why is it always wrong? A lot of people are emphasizing a mindfulness towards the name, which I get why people do that. But it doesn't, the evidence may not support that of the name. So if I receive a name, let's say Philip, I receive Philip, and then I say, is that your name? And if I don't get a yes, then I just throw it away. If I get a yes, I offer it to the client. So yeah, and what you'll do is you'll start training yourself to get that right. But that would be weird, wouldn't it? If we were all, what is there, 74 people in here at the minute, and we were all in a room and we were just all wandering around the room just saying hello to everyone. We're just shouting out random names, you know, Robert, Dave. Like, you'd be like, what? Why are you shouting out Dave? And you'd be like, just random. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't show intelligence. So I want the intelligence to be there. So I hear, Philip, is that your name? Yes, I have a guy here, Philip. And that fixes that for you. Zan says, can you explain the what's he saying there? The something you draw when you think you are off but you aren't. The feel? Can you explain the feeling? Can you explain that? I don't know what that word is, Zan. You're gonna have to rewrite that question because I don't understand what it is that you're doing there. Free Joy, that's why I'm here, to help you out. That's all it is. Without you, there is no live stream, is there? So no questions, no live stream. I go off. So that's what I'm here for. Help you with the problems that some people... You know, when I was going through my development, I went to some real good places, you know, to get my development, what I thought was good. And I'd spend a fortune waiting for the workshop and the classes, and then I'd have questions, and they'd say to me, Charlie, it's a little bit off topic, can you wait till after class? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'd be outside waiting with my cigarette, waiting for the tutor to come out, and I'd say, can I ask you that question? And they'd say no, and I'd get in their car and fuck off home. And you're like, man, I waited afterwards, like, and so I never got any questions answered ever. And if they didn't know the answer, they weren't honest with me and just say, I don't know the answer to that, Charlie. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. They just never got back to me. They never helped me. That's what this Q&A is for. When your teachers are not answering the question or making it sound sensible or logical, like that makes absolute sense, is why I'm here. Because I was so frustrated. And I don't want you being frustrated. If you're not frustrated, your mediumship's a million times better. So I want to knock the myths out. I want better teaching, easier understanding, and that's what these live feeds are about. Help you guys out where I couldn't find it. So I'm filling the void that I found while on my own journey. Well, I'm still on my own journey, but you know what I mean. Crystal, I did a workshop, gave the evidence. When I sat down, I thought someone had thrown something at me, and I ducked. It was a gold ball, then disappeared. Is this a sign I'm getting close to better evidence? It could. I mean, why not? Why would it not be a sign? I'm not quite happy that they're throwing balls and stuff at you, though. So don't know. I don't know what that is. You'll know you're getting better evidence because you're hearing yes more, and you can't gauge. On a scale of 1 to 10, I can't gauge the evidence that I'm giving to this individual with the memory of this individual here. No context, no context. Your gauge is probably out. It's probably broken. What you think is an 8 is probably a 2. What you think is a 2 is probably an 8. So I would stop gauging it. I need to measure my success on the yes, the validation, not on what I think I said is good. Then you'll have a better analysis of your mediumship. When you have been developing for a while, do you think it is important to go back and revisit some of the things you started out with as a newbie? I think you can. I think it would maybe indicate how far you've come. And I'm not saying that you need to do that every week, but you know, some people like working with things like colour. And I know that because that class sells out so fast. Some people like working with animals. I know that because that class sells out really quick. It's not my favourite topic, but it is one that's relaxed and it's a little bit less pressure. So revisit those every now and again, I think, is a good thing. But equally, you're trying to strive in the momentum of forward, aren't you? So it's gonna be really uncomfortable moving those parameters for self in mediumship, in turn in real life, and you'll start to notice you change, that the things that you first started with probably don't hold the value that you gave it when you started. So every now and again, I don't see harm in that. So Sue says, I've done ghost hunts for years, I think, but my beliefs have changed. Most communication is there. Any will be for those who are there. They're spirit people, not linked to the building. Yeah, of course it's not linked to the building. So it falls under the hysteria. Now, when you go to like a haunted place, which I've done it with TV shows and stuff like that, they just never post it. They never bring it up, because every time I have seen the man in the basement, I've asked the man who he is, and he doesn't answer me. So there's no intelligence. He'll just say things like, get out, get out, get out. And I'm like, oh, get out? What's your name? Who are you? What's going on? So there's no intelligence there. So that is what people would call a ghost. And a spirit would say, hi, I'm this person. And go from there, offering intelligence. I've asked it a question, it's answering me. So people are paying for the hysteria within the room. And the hysteria's in the room because they are fearful. If I keep filling a room full of fear, and people go in with the markers or the awareness of find the hysteria, you are gonna find the hysteria, which adds to the fear, which then you get more haunted buildings or more activity within the building, but you are feeding fear with fear, which equals more fear. Now we can add more hysteria, and you get this vicious cycle that goes on, and then you get these nonsense stories that go with it. So that's no different to me and you giggling, and we bring a couple of people in, and then it's me, you, and then a couple of people giggling, and we leave that moment of like, that was so fun, we've got to do this more often, I feel brilliant, and it's because we were feeding the room or filling the room with joy, with laughter. I don't know why people, it's so obvious. Like, so just we've just got to be sensible with it. When it falls into the realms of mediumship, for me, it has to have the box ticked for intelligent. So other than that, just not really interested. So, but thanks for clarifying. Where was I? Did I miss one? Oh no, there it is. So, Erica, difference between attitude towards mediumship of US versus UK. What's the difference between the attitudes? I don't know. I've got a wonderful US-based, like US students or America's students, North, South, and they're incredibly passionate, and they're very committed. So I'm not sure there's much of a difference towards mediumship. If anything, I think the US want to be out there publicly quicker than the UK. And you see that certainly on my TikToks or my Insta Reels or my Facebook live feed. It's predominant US over UK. If there's anything that really stands out, it's the difference between channeling and entrancement. And we are worlds apart, the US and the UK, for that. So I would say that's the most standout bit. But mentality and attitude towards mediumship, certainly the people that are developing around me or have developed around me, I think we're pretty much on the same page. So and if they're not, they tend not to come to Charlie's classes, do they? So So yeah, I think we're pretty much on point now, to be fair. Lace says, I think you've answered this in a previous Q&A. It doesn't matter. We got Nina in here, ain't we? Speak to Nina. I've answered Nina's question 1,000,000 times, and next week I will answer it again. So why not a second time on a Q&A? And I do love you, really, Nina. But what caused the turning point in your mediumship from mediocre readings to getting the gold nuggets regular? Actually, I threw the teaching away. I had teachers that were making me like, you need to understand why they're bringing it. You've got to. That was a big turning point for me. Like, I don't need to understand. I don't need this procedure that is just same. So it was the freedom of the read that kind of would have been one of the big turning points in the depth of evidence for the client. That happened a lot more when I broke the parameters of age, relation, passing, occupation, hobbies, need to understand what it is that I'm saying, and just actually giving it would have been a big turning point for me. So yeah, if I haven't answered that right, Lace, then just whack it at the bottom and I'll get to it again in a sec. Neil says, how do you stop dropping to the psychic level in readings? So inside story, Neil, I don't like people. So I don't want to be in their energy. That's how I stop myself from doing that. So it is a matter of discipline. So I check in with the client, and then I look away from my mediumship, and I check in for the validation, then I look away and I check in. If I'm captured by that of the client and I end up in conversation with the client, then at that point I'm more than likely going to go into a psychic mechanic, which is just all the information is about them, the individual. In my mediumship, everything for the duration of the evidential segment, it has to be evidence about who this individual is, not offset here down to this person or other members that they know. It has to be about them, so they know they're in the room with me, and that stops me doing it. Real simple. It's just simple discipline, that one. No problems, Albert. No problems, Free Joy. Nina, there's Nina. For the medium who is just going out to read in public, is it better to find a venue and do 4 or 5 one-to-one readings, or have a small group and do it like a dem? Both. I think both are going to be beneficial. You'll get the energy of a 4, 5, 6 person dem, and they're difficult. They're quite hard to do. Especially early stages, because you'll feel like you've got to do more or you want to give more, and the reservoir as such, you're building up that spiritual energy to be able to conduct yourself for 4 back-to-back one-to-one readings, will be beneficial the same way. If I run 5 kilometers every day on the treadmill, 5 kilometers becomes easy after a small amount of time. So both I would recommend. Can you explain, when we think we are lost in connection with spirit and go blank, what do we do then? The way that I remember my people, take Cal for example. Cal's my daughter's boyfriend. I've got a good relationship with him, and our gaming in the evening. So when I need to think of that individual, I would move my mind to that of Cal, and then the game, I would call that an anchor point. So if I was talking to Carol and I said, you know Cal from Warzone, or Cal, my daughter's boyfriend, that would be like a stitch into the communicator. Now, when I start a communication, let's say the young man car accident, and I've lost my way, where's the young man with the car accident? Then my mind would go back there and bring me back to that. I call that an anchor point to get that young man back that was in the car accident. And if I constantly do that, where's the young man in the car? Where's the young man in the car? Then I'm going to constantly keep my my connection at its strongest throughout the read, throughout the dem, etc. So when you go blank, you become aware that it's gone blank, and now your attention is on blank and you can't get beyond blank because your attention's there. So my attention needs to be, where's the young man with the car, which will then take me to the young man with the car, and now I've avoided the blank because I moved my attention. Why am I not getting indicated at that though? I haven't got it there yet. At the bottom? The bottom of what? And I don't have that. Can you read them now? Yeah, go on, you read them and I'll do that. But I don't have them now.
Do you think that mediums who have had a near-death experience could be more inclined to get a better grasp of letting go and trusting the spirit world? Could trance experience replicate that to a point?
Maybe. I'm not comfortable with saying that it's going to be freer for them individuals. I think what it is the mind is easier because it nearly happened and it wasn't as scary as they thought it was going to be, against someone that has never had a near-death experience and still terrified of that process of what we would call death. So in that example, I think that would be easier to achieve those mindsets, to get to that trance point a lot easier. But I don't think it's limited to that. I don't think that the better ones in the field of trance are because they've had near-death experience. I don't think that's correct. Yeah, and Matthias, I think it's is it due to wrong teaching that a lot of mediums believe in that the spirit world decides who will be it's solely down to the teaching. So is it due to wrong Matthias says, is it due to wrong teaching that a lot of mediums believe in that the spirit world decides who will be the communicator for the recipient? It can only be the teachers that have done that. Which is absolute nonsense. They're not at the deli counter pulling their number because today it's their turn. That's absolute nonsense. It's down to the awareness of the medium and the reach that they have developed. So you will find a lot of mediums will go and get a grandmother or a grandfather because it's comfortable. I look at the client and I can kind of sense that you might have a grandmother in the spirit world, and it's nice and simple and nice and easy to that of I have a 15-year-old boy that wants to join me. So it's the awareness of the medium and the comfort of the medium that dictates who is going to be speaking through communication today. Side note, every single person associated to the client is available for communication. Every last one of them. The awareness of the medium is the one that dictates who's doing it today. Yeah? And then I need to go all the way back up to...
Jane Garner.
There you go, cool. Can you give a random person a reading? Yeah. What do you mean? Can I give a random... All my clients would fall into the category of random though, right? I don't read for people I know, or they're not friends or family. Is that what you mean? That those people are random? Or do you have to have a sit-in? See, that makes me think I'm reading that wrong. So I would never be communicating without the client. Never. So now there's going to be people that say, well, I do that, but how? My argument would be, how accurate is that if you've got no one to give it to and validating? It has to be validated for it to fall into the bracket of evidence. Therefore, there's no point me doing a reading unless I have the client there. So I think I've read it right the second time around. If I haven't, Jane, obviously at the bottom, get that question in. Free Joy, I really love your explanation and no BS approach, so refreshing. It's not refreshing though, mate. I hear this a lot. It really isn't. It's the truth. It's maybe the truth is refreshing, but surely that's what we should all be doing. I mean, I'm not going to get animated about that. I'm going to try not get animated about that, but surely we should all be doing the no nonsense approach, the no bullshit approach, the no fluff and no myth and no approach, so everyone understands that this is so free and for everyone is able to have that relationship, every single person. So Sue says, my daughter was asking me about the paranormal. Hold on, I need a drink. And I said to her, you're best off learning about mediumship. Long story short, she actually got me evidence after following what I explained to her. She trusted what I said, no previous knowledge. She explained seeing scales in her head with like a yes or a no answer to my question. She then gave me the info, which she didn't know, e.g. I asked for her the first initial of a name, and she said, I don't know, but I'm seeing C. That was correct. Give me the hobbies, etc. That's how it's simply that easy. Simply that easy, yeah. So the way that you're explaining it, it's that easy. It gets a million times better than that, though. A million times better. But the problem is with mediumship is that most mediums will say that they are the surrendering medium, but actually it's under condition / demand. I need to know who you are. Are you mum? Are you dad? That's a condition. That's not a service. That's a demand. That's a condition. I will speak if I know what that is not service. See, when you are surrendering and you are in service, it will blow your mind. So I would lean Sue to tell her to surrender without the rituals being placed there. Now, the reason we have those rituals or those formats or those one-dimensional kind of ways is to grow the confidence in the medium that they are receiving information that can be validated to someone that had a life on Earth. That's why those exercises are in play, and we just don't move beyond them. And it's the surrender that is very, very difficult to achieve because people struggle with the word and with the process. So Emma says, when you're doing your readings, do you visualize yourself doing different things like sitting down for a coffee with them or going into their home to set up a scene and help you get more evidence, or do you just allow whatever arrives? Yeah, it's the latter now, Emma. That's not to say it was always like that. Some people like really get on with like having a bench and get someone to join them and then join me for a chat, but that is again for the safety of the medium's mind. I've been doing this long enough now that I don't need any kind of safety of mind because I've been doing it so long and for, you know, on a daily basis for like 15, 16 years. So it's just one of those things where I'm just super confident, super comfortable. Let's go. What am I saying? And then say it. So how can I brainwash myself before a reading? Zan says, how can I brainwash myself before a reading to stay in my power and stay focused instead of fight or flight feeling? It's a choice, mate. So that's the brainwash is it's a choice. You are choosing to fight or flight, or I stay there. And when I feel it move, you're going back, move back there. And then I go to move, and then I move it back. That's me being disciplined in making sure that I go back. And after a while, I just want to go there, don't I? After a while, because I don't allow the excuse. No excuse. Get it done. Fix it, is how I would brainwash that. Sue, at this point, she was 12, so just goes to show trust and know they are there. Absolutely. It's omnipresent. It's always there. And with that should make mediums' lives a lot easier, shouldn't it? It's always there, and here we go, and we're up and running. So it should be like, why wouldn't they bring it? Why wouldn't they want to talk to their person? Would the evidence ever run out? Really, would it run out? And the answer to all of that is no, isn't it? It's like, of course they're going to give you it. They want to be here. They want to talk. You're in the way. So that should ease a lot of problems in people's mediumship, shouldn't it? So another good point. God, they keep asking for ads. You're not having ads. Leave them out. Like the stream, share the stream, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And moving on to Joanne. Thanks for helping. Hanny, I try to be disciplined when I connect the spirit. I don't enter the person's name so lightly. The most important thing is that the sitter understands who the person is. I'm in agreement with that. I want to feel my sister in the room rather than have information about my sister in the room. And that's it's rarely achieved with a name, rarely. Not your everyday baking nana. Oh, God. Ugh. How can we know if a medium on stage is actually connected with spirit? I've seen mediums who seem to push some evidence on people in the crowd and it felt manipulated. It probably is manipulated if it felt manipulated. The way that I would instruct anyone going to watch mediumship is for the duration of the time that the link is being done. So for SNU regulation, I would keep that within a 7 to 10 minute bracket. Not a 25-minute link, and do 3 links in a theatre, and then throw an interval. Incredibly boring. I don't know why people attend these theatres with it being that boring, doing 6 links over nearly 3 hours. So 7 to 10 minute links, and that would be the 7 to 10 minutes will be all about this individual, evidence of this individual, and the message be about the client or for the client. A lot of people are saying, I've got a lady here, and she wants to talk about the new front door that you've put in. Listen, the spirit world don't give a shit about a front door. They don't care about your front door. Let me make that perfectly clear. They want you to know that they're in the room via this medium. They're going to be giving, look, it's really me. Talk about the thing that I did. This is who I am. This is my evidence. That is what should be. That is what should be observed. How much of the information that a medium is talking about is actual evidence about a communicator that's stepping forward. And you're gonna be surprised how little that number is. So UK Paul says UK mediums tell the truth. The US mediums that I work with tell the truth as well. So and I don't watch it online. It does my head in. So yeah. I mean, everyone should be telling the truth, shouldn't they? Free Joy says more clarity. How do I get it? I've been trying so hard. I want it to be like, his name is James and lived at 93 Jenkins Lane in Bath and loved the colour purple. Well, what you have to understand is that James knows his name is James and that James knows where he lived. And James loved the colour purple. James knows that information. What you're saying to James is, I want really detailed information so I look good to this individual here. But actually, the memory of James to this individual here may be about a bar of soap. Maybe the most fondest memory about this communicator for this client is to discuss his love of Elvis. Maybe the best memory for this was because of that night they spent on the sofa watching a movie. And, you know, if they're thinking of that people, they don't need to know about they lived at 93 Jenkins Lane and they love the colour purple, because they are feeling that James is in the room because you're actually saying the things that they need to hear from James. You're irrelevant now. So you got to remember, James, 93 Jenkins Lane from Bath and loved the colour purple is information. It's not essence of a communicator. So you want to, I've made the mistake as well, Free Joy, where I focused everything on name and address, and I achieved it, and it wasn't received well. So and then I realised I'm not doing mediumship for me. I'm doing it for a spirit world that wants to talk to their people that don't know that they're still alive and kicking somewhere else, so they've got to come to me to get that. And with that would fall into that lady's question about a turning point. That would be another turning point there. We've read that one from Euros, didn't we? So, and now I've lost it. It's moved quite a lot. Where are we doing? We're doing all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Man, it's so annoying. I've got like 4 monitors that I've got to watch, so running through streaming platforms, and but we've done that over an hour already, so that's not it's not bad, is it? So getting sick of the sound of my own voice now, though. So. Donna, how do you deal with spirit people who are rude? I'm rude back. The rudeness is evidence, that's all it is. So they wouldn't come in and be polite, because I would say, so I've got a very polite man that wants to come here. That the evidence would be incorrect there. So the man that's coming in that has evidence of being rude would have to be very rude to me. So then I could say, I've got a gentleman here and he's incredibly rude. The same way, if I've got a man that is incredibly violent, I'm going to have to feel like he's about to hit me. And so I've got a very violent man here because he went to hit me, would be my statement. But that would be the evidence. Once the evidence has been given and validated, so I give them the rudeness and they say, oh my God, he was very rude, there would be no reason for that man to be rude now, because the evidence has already been accepted. Now that the mediumship would be a lot easier, a lot freer within my mind, because I'm not actually dealing with a rude man now. I'm dealing with someone that was a rude man. Does that make sense? Now, if you've heard me correctly, that works the same with shy. So I've got a man and he's extremely shy. The moment the client says, I know who you've got, there will be no more shyness, because there's no value in that man acting shy now. There would be no point in that, and the reading's going to come to a standstill. So what happens is the medium's like, oh no, this is going to be well hard because he's really shy. Then you're aware of the shy and you'll get stuck in the shy, whereas I don't get stuck. I understand that it's evidence and I move on. They move on. Yeah? Read that one. Daft Babe. I can't believe I caught alive. Hey Charlie, it's Dana. Who's Dana? Oh yeah. Got ya. Oh, there you go. You caught one. You got. How many names do you go by, Dana? I've been trying to develop trance alone. Any tips? Because I can't find someone to sit with me, either to help me go down into trance, so I do it by myself. My people find it creepy. I would get used to dropping on your own. I would get used to drop into a state. And then the problem is that the understanding of trance is a little bit loose, isn't it? So to get the spoken word up and running, like you have to begin it, you have to start it, and that will drop you over the threshold into the trance area. So the first word is on you. So hello, good evening, maybe whatever your first word is. We go down, and then that will loop, and you'll have this pattern of dropping in and out of trance, and you'll have to reset and then go again, and reset and go again, and reset and go again. When you've overcome that, reset, go again, because you know and understand that you have to start that process of that energy flowing like water from a faucet, water from a tap. At that point, you'll relax into it a little bit more. At that point, I would introduce recording, and you can record what it is that you're doing. And then from that point, you'll see the development that's going on there. But, I mean, there would be a ton of people in my Zoom group that also develop or want to develop trance. So just put Authorize a post to go into the Zoom chat if you want a sitter where you two can sit for each other, and go from there. I've got no problems with you doing something like that. So, but yeah, it's there's no problems with doing it on your own. It's just it's got to have somewhere to go, and so that's where the recording will come in, and then you can sort of work it from there. Maria, I have a friend who often asks me what I get whenever someone she knows pass over. I did do a reading for her loved one, but I don't want to keep doing it just because she's curious. What do? You say no. You create a boundary. I won't read for any family or friends. I personally won't. And that just stops that straight away. Just stops it. They all know I'm not doing it for you lot. Now, I mean, I'm in a fortunate position where I've got probably 500 students on the go right now, so I can just send them to a student, you know, like go there. They're looking to do more reads. But yeah, just it's a boundary, isn't it? So yeah, Zan, thanks for explaining it again 100 times. What can I say? I'm an idiot. We're all idiots, mate. You've just got to get comfortable being that idiot. That's all it is. Free Joy says, but that's what we are not hearing mostly, so it's oh, okay, from that rant. Amy says, thank you for doing this, Charlie. I definitely love all your explanations. Can't wait for the November class. November? Where are we now? September. What's in November?
Who was it?
Amy. I don't know. So there's loads of classes though, so November seems so far away at the moment for me. Darth Babe says, mediumship is subtle but still distinct enough to discern, right? Yeah, I think so. So how can you get to the point where you can make that distinction despite it being subtle? It's a matter of psychic development. At no point when I had a day job did I just fucking turn up to work. Like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Oh my God, like I can't believe. And I used to work in sheet metal work with big steel beams, and I'd be on site. I never found myself with a genie hoist putting up a steel beam and like, oh my God, how have I ended up here putting a steel beam into a building? It doesn't happen, does it? There's an attention-based, I'm going to work. I have to be mindful when I go to work. And then when I go to work, I need disciplines, don't I? And those disciplines are, when I get beyond the front gate, don't call the boss a dickhead today, because I'm going to lose my job. So I can say it in my head, he's a dickhead, he's a dickhead, he's a dickhead. But I don't say it out loud because I needed the job. Well, that's the same line that you draw when you go to mediumship. When I go to that line, I'm gonna go and work as a medium, and then I must say the things that are in my head. That's it. There's nothing. When I finish my work, I go home. When I finish the read, when I finish my develop, I leave it there. That's it. I don't want to do it anymore. And you get this very distinct mindset of I'm working, I'm not. I'm working, I'm not. And there's your line. Your line is done. Really simple. Is it a matter of no psychic? No, it's got nothing to do with the psychic aspects either. So I didn't read the end bit of your Darth Babes question. Is it a matter of psychic development? No. So psychic, you've got psychic development, which will be beneficial if you're looking to do loads of psychic work and, you know, delve into the energies of the psyche. To anyone that doesn't know, you see yourself as this stick man, but you've actually got an aura, and it's me reading the aura. That's psychic development. Then you've got energy management, so understanding energy, that there is a natural balance of positive and negative energy, but non-intelligent. It's just energy that surrounds that aura. It's just energy. That would be energy management. That's a development in itself. And then you've got intelligent energy, intelligent development, which is me getting the communication from this aura to give to this aura, is mediumship. Energy management, psychic development. You don't need that to do that, no. Jane, what is the basic process of communication to the spirit world? Remove you from the process. Mediums are so egotistical that they sit on a pedestal and that they're the most important ingredient in the room. Without the client, you have no communicator. Without the communicator, like if you've got a communicator, it's because you've got a client. Other than that, there is no other process. Mediums are like, I need to know, I want to understand, I need to get it, you need to tell me, you need to do, with zero consideration of why they have that communicator there. So if you can get into the basic process of you are point free, your ego is irrelevant in this moment between these two people, and bridging the gap for that to take place, then your basic process will be one that is very simple, and you surrender your identity for the duration of your read or your demonstration. Dem is short for. And then when I finish my read, my one-to-one, then Charlie becomes important in Charlie's reality. The client becomes important in the client's reality. They'll go about their day, I'll go about mine. When they're coming to me to have that conversation, they do not give a shit about my day. They want to speak to their mum, their dad, their partner, their whatever. And that means I need to leave my stuff at the door. They don't care. Real basic process of communication. Get out of the way. Yellow chocolate. Does the spirit world see the same things that our human eyes see, or does the spirit world only see what we're thinking and feeling, which may be what we humans are looking at? It's a really good question. The reality is, I don't know. I'm here with you, yellow chocolate. I'm on earth with you. What the spirit world will say that they see will be something that we can validate. That doesn't mean that's what they see. I think as an opinion, they see way different to the way that we see. We're giving it a human aspect through the restriction of a human flesh puppet that you see here on your screen. We're giving it that restriction. My eyes can only see between a certain frequency and vibration. The spirit doesn't have human eyes, so it sees a lot more. I mean, but I can't prove that. I can't evidentially say, look, this is what that is. So I think it's confined to the comprehension of the human/client. I can say they have beautiful rainbows in the spirit world, but I can't show you that rainbow. I can't show you it, so therefore it's just hearsay. That could be my imagination, it could be me just making it up. You will never know. But if I say your mum wants me to say that thing, and you go, oh my god, she did that, she has that was definitely her, then that's under the restriction of you, isn't it? The human. So great question, one to think about, but it falls out of the band of evidential, because I simply can't prove it what I think it is. Kelly, do you have clients that you just can't do a read on? No. So I own my own power. So mediums that struggle to read for a client is because there is a handing over of their power. So that what I mean by that is someone new, someone very new, this person's eye rolling, and you let it affect you as the medium. That doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm not here for you. I'm here for them. They want to talk to you. So if I could choose, I wouldn't talk to people, because people's people, aren't they? It is what it is. So there's nothing I can do about that. So yeah. So I own my own power. I don't give it away. So I can get through all the reads all of the time. Lex, do you think mediumship is something anyone can do? Yes, obviously some people are more natural inclined, but it is just a muscle you train, basically. Yeah, everyone can do it, providing they're willing to be open to the idea of mediumship. What will happen is not everyone's looking for a god, are they? So it's not the best word to use in 2025, but not everyone's looking for a god unless they've got a problem. and then everyone wants God's help, and then everyone will maybe say, like, I hope there is a God because I really need your help now. At that point, they would be open to the idea of external intelligence. If you have no reason to look for that, your life is unaffected, it's going well, you've got no reason to think outside the box of your ego because you are clearly the most important person on planet fucking Earth, then you will not be open to the idea of mediumship. That doesn't mean that you can't do it, it's just that you're not open to it because you can't see beyond the centre of the universe, which has got you sat on a pedestal there. So it's it's that simple. So if the idea is free and you are open enough, you've looked outside beyond the identity of self, every one of those people can do mediumship. Whoa, what happened there? Thanks. Jane says, what do you think of over-the-phone mediumship or psychic readings? Over-the-phone mediumship's absolutely fine. I think people get too comfortable with it. I think that's a little bit of an issue. Because you're not looking, and the power thing that I was just talking about there is not really as intense as it is when it's in person, so you can get a little bit comfortable doing it on the phone, no problems there. And psychic readings can be done on the phone as well, so I've got no problems with them. I would just make sure that I would use it very sparingly and want to be in person for development purposes, so I become a better instrument for whichever discipline I'm focusing on. I totally get. Free Choice says, I totally get it, but I've been more guided to get more evidence and be less emotional. I would ask your clients, what would they prefer? Would they prefer more evidence or more essence / emotion? And I think you're going to be surprised by the answer. So, Xander says, if I go blank on demo or private sittings, I will imagine you screaming in my ear, go back to the man or the woman. Where is the woman? Yeah. So, and if that works, then absolutely do that, because it will be a means to an end, and you will save the read or you will save the demonstration. So 100% advise me screaming down your neck like a drill sergeant at a boot camp. I've got no problems with that idea. Matthew says, when would I give a physical description of the spirit I am bringing through, Charlie, or clothing? Physical description. Clothing is point. I've changed twice today already. You may have heard me earlier on in the stream when my daughter's boyfriend got me up early and he wasn't ready. I was in one outfit, and then later on in the day I was in another outfit, and now here I am on stream in another outfit. So dependent at what time of the day you caught me, you would have seen me in different clothes. So clothes, completely pointless. Now, the only way I would ever talk about clothes is if you opened my wardrobe and I had 10 pairs of blue jeans, 10 white t-shirts, 10 black hoodies, 10 black hats. Then that is clearly something worth talking about, because that's all I ever wore. Then clothing has value. Other than that, there's no value. It gets changed daily, and if it's not, why not? It should be changed daily, right? Physical description, again, it's average height, average build, average fill in the blank. Physical description would only be if they are really distinct in their or above average, what removes you from the generic. So, you know, you've got a man with a neck as wide as a juggernaut, then worth talking about. But if you've got a man that's just got a neck, there's not really much point in saying it. So I think you have to give or get away from the idea that physical and description of clothing is a valuable statement in mediumship. So I would say, with exception to the examples I've given, I would never talk about those things. Freejoy says, thank you, I'm on the right track then, just need more confidence in how I work. Yeah. The best question you can ask yourself throughout your development is, who am I? Ask your triggers, your motivations, you know, all the things that make you you, and that of the process of mediumship and its development. Who am I will constantly change, and you'll learn to adapt as you go along. Emma says, do you work all of your clairs or do you have preferred ones? And if yes, which ones are they? I actually work more with the idea now, the spark within the neuro pathway of my mind. Any clair beyond that, whether it be the vision or the sound or the smell, the taste, the feeling, is to just give me the confidence that's what I need to say. So I get the idea followed by the picture is almost like a double burn for me, which means I'm going to struggle with energy a little bit later down the line, over the course of a day or whatever. So I tend to go with the idea. Some people may put that as the knowing, maybe. I don't think it is the knowing. It's that they're giving me an idea, I speak that idea, and then sometimes I may need an extra bit of depth, or a bit of depth. Then it would be followed by a picture or a feeling, I think, is the most general two that are used, aren't they? So idea, picture, feeling. Idea, feeling, picture, whatever. Darth Vader, awesome, thank you. Yes, I'm a girl of many names. Cool. So got myself back to a church circle recently after years. The amount of psychics, though, quite a letdown. Same old, innit? So not sure if I'm just too fussy now, but no memories, barely any personality, mainly psychic. I agree. It's pretty much all psychic. Now all I can do, my 2 pennies worth out there, is go and demonstrate evidence. That's which I do. You'll find me on some platform tomorrow night somewhere in the UK. I'll be doing that, and I'll be talking about it on Q&As and in videos, that it has to be evidence of the individual here, not about this individual here. And while it's tolerated, it will only get worse. So I'm fighting the fight. I just need more fighters fighting the fight. Yellow Chocolate, do spirit communicators always have messages for their humans, and if so, how is the message from the communicator perceived? Would it be a feeling or a thought? It could be both. I think they always have a message because we say, right, this is coming to an end. Is there anything? Is there any final thoughts? Is there anything you want me to leave them with? It can be about them. It could be about anything. What do you want me to say? Is the tying up, the coming to the end. We're preparing them for that. So I think there's always something to be said. Yes. And received in feeling, thought, whatever. Did I miss a question, did I? Because you've put in there, if I've missed one, pop it at the bottom.
I didn't know if you'd answered Nina's.
Nina.
Which was one I done.
Oh, okay. So how are we getting on? So we're nearing hour and 45, aren't we? So let's have a look. Zan, how do you go around clients that is hard to read? Is it me or the client? How do you shrug it when it happens all over again with the same client? I would stop torturing yourself and stop reading for that one client. It is a power struggle that goes there. As you unfold and as you develop, you grow into your mediumship, the parameters will definitely change. I don't need to run the gauntlet. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't feel judged when I'm doing my work. They have sourced me in. They are wanting to see me. They want to spend time with me. Anything less than that, I've got no problems with turning those people away. So it's off you go. And I'm less awkward about that now, 15 years down the line, than I was in the beginning. Now I've learned respect for myself, respect for my team, and anyone oversteps in the idea of respect, I will draw the readings to a close and I will go about my day. So it's lines need drawing. Nina, sorry if I've missed your question, Nina. So Nina says, how do you, as a medium, move yourself towards reading more challenging reads, not just love and light? I think it's my own everyday that does that, though. So if you are in an environment of all love and light and seeing the best in everything, and that's been your life story, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sort of crossing over to the idea of my way of life. You know, it is what it is. People can be horrible. People do bad things. People do nice things. Some with motive, some not with motive, and I'm not surprised by any of the stories across any of the medias on a daily basis. It is what it is attitude. If you are seeking the best in everyone and you hope that everyone is there, you're going to have to change that ingredient slightly so you can lean into the is what it is kind of way. So it is very much about the individual, the personality that they are, and the lens of life that they are watching the world with, that is going to then dictate and be the second nature reach within mediumship. So you'll notice you change in real life if you change it in mediumship, and if you change it in real life, you'll notice the natural change in your mediumship there. So whichever one you change, you'll notice will change the other one. So yeah. So but don't mistake me. You know, like I'm to the point, and I get the voices that rarely get heard and things like that. But don't forget, people do love the love and light, and people do love the baking grannies, and you know, so there is space for all of us there. It's just I wanna be equipped to be able to do any of the voices, and I strive for other people to want to do that. It just means slight change in everyday behaviours. Yeah, does that make sense? Darth Babe says, risk of being annoying. Even when I draw the line between mediumship and not working, I still have trouble discerning if the info is me or not. That's what the client's there for. So I ask the client, you understand that? Yes, cool. Do you understand that? No, that was me. Next. Yeah, so, and if I've read the rest of your question, so I just speak regardless? Yes, is the answer. And that's why the client is there, to keep the parameters on acceptance. Job done. You'll work it out very quickly. It'll fall into a pattern. I've heard you say you have 7 minutes for most communication links. Is that more or less for all mediumship links? 7 to 10 minutes mediumship links. 7 to 10. That's SNU regulation here in the UK. When you're going for certification, 7 to 10 minute window is the mark that you're aiming for. Mediums tend not to do that in a theatre, because they would have to do 6 links prior to a break, then have the interval, then come out and do 6 links. And people do the theatres because it's easy money. You can do 3 links and you can, you know, be centre of attention and go from there. So I tend to do a couple of theatres a year, but I maintain my 10-minute marker when I'm doing the theatre kind of big stage dems. The churches, the centres, you know, the independents, then 7 to 10 minute links is perfect. Every day I hear a song my grandmother used to sing to me as a child. Am I missing something, or is it just her? Just curious. It's just the 2 lines of the song as well. I think it's a nice thought to say that she's there around you. I think, why would we wreck that any other way? I think that's a nice thought. Let's leave it at that. Shmida, thank you for the live stream. Your dedication to spirit and to your students is unparalleled. Wouldn't know, so I can only talk about my own experience, and the reason I spend time here or do the residentials in the way that I do them is because I'm filling the void that my development found. Sheila says, wow, I caught the live, only been watching for a minute, and lol, your responses to questions are sugar-free. Cool. James has sent in a super chat and says, what's a good way to learn to read psychic aura? Get a handful of people that are willing to let you delve into their energy and go through the expression of that energy, and they will say yay or nay, yes or no. what you must remember is that if you're going to do it with people that you know and you're going to have a relationship with at some point, the likelihood is they are going to lie to you at some point when you start getting accurate, because it's embarrassing, it's too personal. So I would begin very early on with friends, family, maybe to learn with, but extend beyond that to get good at it. You're going to have to get friends of friends of friends. So the dilution is a lot more, and they won't be or need to lie to you to protect an ego, an identity, or whatever. So that's what I would do in that sense. Lex says, makes perfect sense. Thank you. PS, thank you for no ads. Yeah, I did turn it off. So, you know, I don't even know how much you make on the ads, because I don't have them. I know they go on the videos, but there's nothing I can do about that. But in the lives, I'd still have a say at the moment. So yeah. So. Cal says, I like the blame for you being up so early. Yeah, well, it was him that got me up that early. So to play a very high competitive game online, to find out it didn't open till midday anyway. So we sat there talking for 2 hours, which, as nice as he is, I'd prefer him asleep, to be fair, but whatever. Pierre says, do you meditate or sit in the power occasionally? Not at all. Prior to readings, never ever. Don't need to, mate. So no, never. Can read at any point, any given time. I choose to sit in the power. So for anyone that doesn't know what that means, that's when I go to that space that is mediumship and I'm sat with a guide, a team or whatever. It's because I want to sit with them in that area, not because I have to sit with them in that area. Yep. Who? Who's Scott? Is he? Oh, Scott. That's Scott. So Scott was the other dude under Cal on the chat. He was there today as well. He had me up early, and then left me half hour because he needed the loo. So yeah, Scott's in there as well. So that makes sense why he's saying yeah, Cal. So Shmida does like a dabbing duck, innit? Is that a dabbing duck? I don't know. Pierre, thank you for sharing. Emma, how many spirit guides do you think we have? I think there is a growth in it. So at first you'll be very aware of one, and that's just to build up a relationship and for you to be comfortable in talking to that of a spirit world. And then after that, it's kind of like friends of friends. You know, so if you then develop some sort of healing, it would make sense that your guide knows someone that's very good at healing and can spend time with you. So you would then become aware of a secondary person or spirit, whichever terminology you need there. And then you want to do talking, then you want to do inspiration, and the whole time the team is growing. So I like the terminology of team, but I'm accepting of one if you're comfortable with that. I don't think they change and swap. I think it just grows. Zan says, thank you, Charlie and Carol, for your endless time and putting in the work to answer our questions. That's the whole purpose of the live feed. So not yet every day Bacon Nana shouting out to Bacon Nanas. So there you go. Yellow chocolate. The spirit world makes their presence known by making me feel nauseous. That's your brain that makes you feel nauseous, not the spirit world. The feeling happens immediately when I connect, and that's because you've taught yourself that when I connect I need to feel nauseous, and your brain will activate the nausea because you've sent your attention to connect. You're doing it to yourself. Yes. Darth Babes, does your family judge your work? I've got no family left, to be fair, Darth Babe. They all died, other than my children, and I don't think my eldest Cal in the chat, she's got enough going on with that idiot to be worrying about my work. The middle one, I don't think he really cares, and the youngest one, which is what, 16, 17, 16, just kind of accepts it. It's always been there throughout their life, so that's it. I don't really care, to be fair, for their opinion of the work or whatever, you know. So not so much the eldest now, but the youngest, you know, she, as long as she got her new shoes, she wouldn't care where I got it from, would she? So So yeah, I don't really care. I'm not a closet medium. I'm very public with mediumship and speaking about the spirit world that I work with. Even if they did, my dad was very skeptical of it, but I just don't let it bother me in any way, shape or form. So Pierre, what got you to the point that you could see telephone numbers or some other specific bit of information of the average medium might not get? The difference between me being able to get something specific and someone that can't is I know that they know their own story. You are trying to get that information. I know they'll give me it. That's the difference. Matthew says, if I'm comfortable with one Clair, how do I develop the other Clairs? Deliberately don't allow yourself to use the one that you're happy with. For anyone in the chat, what does he mean by the Clairs? Sounds like he's got loads of women around that are all named Claire. That's a bit weird. It's just the sense. So the sense of seeing, the sense of hearing, the sense of feeling. Clair is just a clear sense in whichever discipline that is. So clairvoyance is clear seeing, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so if you're really good at pictures, do the next one with no pictures, and that will teach you to use the other ones to be more up to speed. Free Joy says, so how do I get your confidence? Is it just obvious time and development 7 years in? I don't think so. I don't think it's like I always use my phone as example. So are these phone cases still available? I forgot about them. So look, my little medium Charlie Kelly stick man. I never questioned the ability of my phone in sending a text to Cal, for example, to say, let's get on Warzone. I pick up my phone, I open up the message, I send the message, I send it, I don't even think about it. I have complete confidence in my iPhone sending Cal said message. And you are putting the confidence in how good can you do that. So my confidence is in the team that I work with, like the phone. The team that I work with, I know they're going to be doing everything they can to get this through to their person. My confidence is in that. I'm an idiot. Whereas you're like, oh, I don't feel so good today. I don't feel so confident. I don't know if I can get this today. I know they can get it. So my confidence is in them getting it and me receiving it and saying it. That would be it. Sorry, Charlie, I wasn't aware. Oh, no, it's cool. It happens, doesn't it? It's all cool. So, Cal says, cheers. Duff, mate, thank you for your answer. I get judged harshly. Appreciate it. I mean, it's going to be... You're going to be judged harshly by the media or whatever. I'm about to go on to the most toxic community known to man. It's called Call of Duty. And some of those people are in this chat and they're going to absolutely grill me when I get in that chat. And it's just you're building in Kevlar to your skin. It's going to happen. People are going to have an opinion. It's how you feel about it. So, do you like my hoodie? Don't give a shit. I like it. So, other than that, I don't care. Didn't ask. So it's one of those. Do not care. So and that is me owning my own power at that point. So we'll begin to round this up because I'm actually really needing a wee, and we are approaching the 2-hour mark. So this would be a really good point. I'll answer what's there. A really good point to get you to like it if you can, subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and afterwards share if you are prepared to be judged harshly. To share the live feed to let people know that this kind of thing's available. Diana says, thank you for the Q&A, very helpful. Why do many tutors suggest you sit in the power for 30 minutes every day? It seems like a lot. I think it seems like a lot if it becomes that burden, that chore that you must do. You've got to remember that most tutors or most teachers have a CD or download that you can purchase. So it makes absolute sense to keep feeding you that you must sit with this today and this one tomorrow, and you've got to do these ones at the weekend, and I can supply all of those for you for a measly $25 per. Would be a business model. I think you've got to want to go and sit with your team for it to have its best benefits. So I think it's one of them. Sometimes, Zan says, sometimes it's like having the next to me and talking my ear, and sometimes it's really vague. Can I do something to make it sharper and not vague? Not really. You want that as subtle as possible, so you want it as vague as possible, so you're using less energy, Xander. Free Joy, your explanation is amazing. Thank you for being so confident. No problem. Nina says, thank you so much, Charlie. Heard everything better today. New mic. Thank Carol. New podcasting mic. And I'm worried that it's going to blow out. But yeah, so I'm not going to put it on the arm. I can just plug this one in and out, run it upstairs if I want it or whatever. So yeah, so I don't know what model it is, but I know it's a very good podcasting mic. So, and it's made by Shure. So there you go. I think they're known for that. Where did I get up to? Lex, your humour and no nonsense is great, says Lex. Cool. Cal says, or he chooses certain words and know exactly what he means or wants. Yes. Matthew says, thank you, Carol and Charlie. Wonderful live. Enjoy your Hawaii trip, bro. Scott says, my dad's brilliant at Call of Duty. Carol says, like and subscribe. The next Q&A is already scheduled, is it? Mm-hmm. We've already done that, so don't forget to hit the notification bell. But you will need to subscribe to hit that notification bell so you are informed of when it's there. Darth Babe says, why did Silver Birch claim he needed to learn English if he's a spirit? So I'm not going to even read the rest of that. The problem is with trance, you have to go through the mind of the medium. So the medium would have believed that the Silver Birch couldn't speak English, therefore that would have come out in trance. And when you are doing trance, the first words are on you, which I told you about, and you need to move it forward, that it would be a problem with the medium, not the guide. So it's the Christianity link, the binding to their God and their understanding of that God that suggested to Maurice Barbanel, Silver Birch's guide, that the guide needed to learn English. Mediumship's a universal language. No language is needed. They would put that essence of energy into my mind, and that would naturally translate into my spoken word, the same way as it would that someone that spoke French. It would be the same essence, but it would be naturally translated into French. That's the problem with the old books. Candy sitting there all quiet, so thanks for popping in, Candice. And Kirsty. CM, thanks Charlie for put the confidence in my team, no problem. No worries. Yeah, so now we're all rounding up, so perfect. So I am absolutely busting for a wee, but I will just quickly go over a few things that I want to go over. May take 2 minutes, may not. So it was sold out, but there is now a few spaces left on the residentials. These are held in Birmingham, and they are very, very near the international airport if you were to fly in from another country. They are 2 separate weeks. They are one of evidential mediumship, and the second week is platform mediumship, meaning how to put it on a stage. So if you're at that level and you want that to be stretched or pushed, that's what that week would be for. You do not have to do both. You can do one or the other, the first or the second. That there's no problems with that. All classes, themes and what have you are available on the website mediumcharliekelly.co.uk, mediumcharliekelly.com, or Facebook page Medium Charlie Kelly, where you will find all the posters and banners for all the classes for 2026. This is the best time to now start signing up for those. If you have ever tried to sign up for them, you will see they are always sold out. I'm telling you on a live feed, so you can put your interest against the ones that you need there. So this is it. This is that moment where you go, why don't you tell us? I'm telling you, they've all been released for 2026. and there is some space for the mentoring. Mentoring is not for the light-hearted. It is to the point. It is a issue that you own. We're going to go over it, we're going to fix it, and you will be a better medium at the end of it. But that is an investment on your part. So we've got the very cheap themed kind of classes, to the more mechanical classes, to the more workshop classes, to the residential classes, to the mentoring. All available, mediumcharliekelly.co.uk. Like, subscribe the video if you aren't already, and don't forget to share if you are brave enough to share. That would be great. And I will see you all in the next one. I will leave the end card up for about 5 minutes, so anyone that wants to say bye or do anything in the chat, that will run over. That will still be on the YouTube part of it. And I will see you on, I don't know when it is, but I'll see you on the next one. It's already scheduled, etc., etc. There may be one in between all of that. Don't know yet. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Ciao, ciao for now. Until next time. End card coming up.